All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode, another week of After the Pause. I am so excited today to have Christy, obviously, my amazing friend and co-author. But we also have Amy Duncan with us, and Amy is amazing. So Christy and Amy are about how far apart are you right now?
Streets.
Three streets, everybody. Technology is wild. I'm in Chicago and they are literally 3 streets away from each other in Thailand. But Amy, she'll give a lot more details about who she is, but she is one of the leaders at Outpour Family Foundation, which was the ministry that I am working with remotely. And then Christy is on the ground with as well in Mae Sot, Thailand. Amy, you are just somebody that I look up to so much. Just your faith and just your journey with the Lord has been just amazing to be somebody on the outside looking in, and just getting to be a part of your story has been amazing. And so I'm so excited tonight to get to talk to you about courage and just about what that looks like in your life.
Amy, truly, like, I'm going to steal it before I pass it to you. But it's been so cool, like Kate said, to watch your journey. I have loved getting these it's been 6 years for me with you out here, but you've been out here for 10, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to watch your journey and just the family that's been forged. I think I'm so thankful for that. You know, like, we've all said yes to this thing. We've stepped away from our families. And I just love the sisterhood that the Lord has forged between us. And you're just a rock star. And we could go on and on and on about those things, but we'll give you a chance to your favorite thing, talk about yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're up to.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. Yay. And I'm so excited to talk about myself. Oh gosh. But yeah, so I'm Amy, as they said. But yeah, so out here with Outpour Family Foundation, one of my main focuses, and Christy's as well, which is super awesome, is we are working towards seeing children restored to family legally and family restored to children. That is our heartbeat, our goal, and making sure everything is legal. And so we are working towards that and doing that through our recently purchased Safe Homeland, which hopefully soon we're going to start building on and building these safe places for kids who have been abandoned, especially babies who have been abandoned with no traceable next of kin, to come into temporarily until we're able to, working alongside the Thai government, place them in their forever families. Yeah, so just super exciting. Everything that the Lord has been doing out here and the doors that he's been opening up, and the partnerships that he's been putting in place, especially with the local government authorities here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I love seeing everything that's going on with Safe Homeland, and just the story. Like, we can't go into it tonight because that's not what this is about, but even just the journey that the Lord has taken you and Outpour Family Foundation on, for just coming alongside kids who don't have family. And it's been quite a journey. And that is beautiful. I'm wondering, Christy or Amy, one of you, don't care who, can you help make the connection? What is the connection between Braverly and Safe Home and Outpour and all of that? Because they are connected. And sometimes it gets confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take that. So Outpour Family Foundation is like the umbrella. Here's my umbrella. The umbrella covering for for Braverly and our Outpour Safe Home Land. And then we have another one underneath it, which is just community outreach, another pillar underneath Outpour Family Foundation. So hopefully that like clears up. Christy, anything else?
No, I think you said it well. Like, it's all connected because we're all under the same organization. We're all going after similar things, in that we want to see the kingdom advance. We want to see Jesus' love spread across the globe in all the places. And we choose to do that in these different avenues. And they're all a part of the same thing though, which is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And may I add one more thing?
Please.
Yeah. And so, right, it's not only that Braverly is underneath the foundation in our Outpour Safe Homeland, but it all interconnects, like it's all synergized together. So what happens at Braverly affects what happens at the Safe Homeland, and what happens there affects here. And just even what's been really beautiful, one of the big things that we've been going after these last lots of years is seeing legal identity restored, legal identification. There you go. Legal identification documents restored to children, but also our women at Braverly, and now their children as well. So they have a legal identification card, so the police can't pull them over or harass them or X, Y, and Z. And it brings just such a security to everyone. So it's all interconnected.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. And that's why I wanted to make that connection, because we wrote this book. It feels like a lifetime ago well, you guys are still in Mae Sot, that I was in Mae Sot and we were writing this book. But it's all connected. It's like the mission and the heart of what you are doing, Amy and Christy, with Safe Homeland, that is connected with Braverly, which is connected to Refuge Children's Home, which is connected to this book and the mission and all of it. So I love seeing how it's connected. And I love seeing that the heartbeat behind it all is so much the same. And it manifests in different ways. Like the book doesn't talk about a safe home, but like those ideas of courage and those ideas of finding our sense of identity and sense of self in the Father, like that's all over the work that's happening at the safe home. So I love all the connections, and I love the just that heartbeat that is so similar across the board. So thank you for making that connection. Just bringing people in a little bit more. I think that's so important. But all right, this leads us into our first question that we ask all of our friends, our guests who come. It's meant to be silly, but if you want to take it seriously, that's so fine. What is an irrational fear that you face that you have to overcome?
Yes. Okay. So I don't know if this is the proper term for them, but are they called drain coverings? So when you're walking on the street and like the sewers underneath and there's the drain, maybe drain coverings, that sounds pretty proper. I just have the irrational fear that my leg's gonna go through, so I like to always walk around them. And you know what, now I pass that on along to my daughter. I let her know, no, don't walk on those, let's walk around them. Well, especially in Thailand, you never know, you never know.
Come up and get you.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, you're welcome.
That is so good. I definitely I've walked over them plenty of times, especially here in Chicago. And every now and then I'm like, what if this fell through?
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's real.
Not fun.
It's real.
Yep. I've observed you do it enough too that I catch myself doing it, not walking on them. Even when I'm riding my bike, I don't like to ride my bike over them. I'm turning awkwardly to avoid it.
Yeah, right? Because you never know. And especially over here too, I've seen some that have already fallen in. So I like the concrete, because they're concrete ones out here that just fall in, the drain covering. I don't want my body to fall in those drain coverings.
That is fair. That is fair. Also, I'm thinking of the ones that are grates, there's slats in them. And I feel like this could be irrational, or maybe it's not, because Thailand and all the snakes and all the stories of something coming up. So, I get it. It's irrational, but is it? I don't know.
We're going to say it's fictional.
Yeah.
Let's take a vote. Rational or irrational? Okay. Rational?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Yeah, everyone agreed.
No, everybody.
So good. I agree 1,000%. Okay, so but let's shift it. So we've got irrational fears.
Drain
But
cover.
what?
Drain cover. I'm sorry. I just had to say irrational fear, drain cover. Okay, keep going.
I love it. I love it. Amy, for you, what are some fears or insecurities that have held you back that you've had to work through? And with that, how do you practice living courageously every day? What are some steps that you do to live courageously?
Yeah, that's awesome. Great question. So one of them for sure is, so I know that this is going to fall into somewhere, it falls into the insecurities, but the need or the desire to try to make everyone happy. I take that on as my job, right? But that is not my job. And so because of that, like just trying to please everyone or try to make everyone happy, absolutely, like seeing how that has held me back and even has held me back as a leader. And just even recently with different shiftings and stepping into higher places of authority and leadership. I know over the summer too, like fears began to creep in of like, can I do this? Like, I shouldn't be in this position because this is how I'm created. This is what I am on the Enneagram. And how can this number on the Enneagram be like one of the head leaders, you know? And so like definitely had to like process through that and walk through that and just come back to like just really busting those, because right, any kind of tests, like personality tests, the motivation tests, whatever, I can easily let that like box me in, and just like, okay, this is what it is. So, okay, here we go. So just coming back to that, like, God, this is how you created me, A. B, let's bust through these boxes because this doesn't define me. And you absolutely, like, you created me to be the leader that I am. And so I just need to walk fully in that, trusting that these new positions that you've placed me in, like, you're going to give me what I need. And you're the one who put the mantle on me. So I got to trust you that you're going to give me, and I just said that, but give me what I need to help, to help walk through. So like, right, with all of that, it's combating those fears just with the truth, coming back like, okay, who do you say I am? And oh yeah, you're the one who told me, like, put this mantle on me. And so, oh yeah, I got to trust you for it. So, right, it just comes back to that, like the relationship with the Father, always having him at the center, which, you know, sometimes I failed and succumb to, don't we all, succumb to like the fears or the insecurities, let them creep in, but getting right back, to the Father, or even like, right, going to a friend and being like, yo, Christy, this is what's happening right now. Can you please speak that truth over me? Yeah. And living courageously each day, right? It starts with, absolutely, like hanging out with the Father and like having him again, like remind me like who I am. Okay, what are you saying we're supposed to be doing? What do we need to do for today? And then taking that, like what he's showing, and then just taking one step forward, if you will. And what's been super helpful too, mighty helpful, is every morning when I drive my daughter to school, we like to pray in the car. And so praying and just, it's usually the same things. And it's, okay, thank you, Father God, that you make us strong and you make us courageous. And thank you that your joy is our strength. And so even that, like saying that out daily, helps me, not only her, but it definitely helps me, like reminds me like, you're the one, you're the one who makes me courageous. You're the one who makes me brave to even be able to walk into an all-Thai school and have everyone, you know, look at me daily. You're the one that gives me the courage to like even do that, you know, or you're the one who gives me the courage, right? And the simple things that seem super hard, but living in this other culture, like you're the one who gives me the courage. I don't like to talk on the phone. You're the one who gives me the courage to talk on the phone in another language. Okay. So help me, Jesus.
Oh my gosh, it's real.
Real.
Oh my gosh. It's so real. Those little steps that you just talked about. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Like, but it's taking those little steps, but it's also just trusting like you, Father God, like you are the one that gives me the courage in this very moment. Like,
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious for you. You talked about like combating like those lies or those fears with truth. For you, like, how have you found those truths? Like, what are the truths that you regularly speak over? I think you mentioned a few of them, but like, what are a few of them that you regularly speak over your life and your daughter's life? And like, how did you come to that list? If there is a list, putting that in quotes, if there is one, but yeah, tell us into that a little bit.
Yeah. No, that's a fantastic, I can't even say it. Fantastic question. Yeah, I wouldn't say like per se that I have like a written out list. I mean, in the past, absolutely would have, from learning that like on the world race, let's make these declarations daily, which are great tools to have. But yeah, I think for me, for coming to those truths and coming back to those truths, it's coming back to, I love to journal and write out prayers. I don't, I have seasons for that. And just coming back to those truths of, okay, who do you say I am, Lord? Who do you say we are, as your children? And what are the promises that he's given us from his word that are in the Bible, that we can speak over ourselves. And so, right, like I absolutely try to do that with myself and with my daughter, just coming back to those truths of, yes, you make us brave. Your joy, right? Let's be real. Like these last couple of years have been hard for the entire world. So like coming back to those truths, like, man, I feel so weak, but your joy that comes from you, that can't be shaken or changed or isn't based on circumstances or what happens to us. Like, how do you get there? Like that joy that becomes our strength. And right, like, what does it mean when we're weak? Then is it that right? When we're weak, then I am strong. Like, what? Okay, cool. Because when we're weak, we go to the Father, right? And when we're strong, like we try to go to the Father, right? But sometimes we mess up, or not mess up, right? But we're like, oh, I can do this. But anyways, so like for me, and for my daughter, she's coming back to those truths. And also, what are the words that the Lord has spoken through other people, about me, or about my daughter? And so coming back to those truths of who the Lord says that I am, that have been spoken through other people, who hear the Father, because we all hear the Father. And so that is what has helped me. And those are tools that I come back to, or try to come back to, I should say.
That's so good. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so good. Man, so you might have gone into this a little bit. So sorry if you feel like you're repeating yourself, but just one of our goals in this is to provide like tools or just encouragement, or feel like people have friends in their corner. So what would you say? Imagine someone sitting across from you is like, I would like to live with more courage. Like I want to get there. What is a piece of advice that you would give to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and just this question, the first thing that always just keeps coming into my mind, but not to steal it from Nike, but is just do it, right? Like just take one step, right? As a child is learning how to walk, they need that courage, right? To take just one step after the other, to learn those skill sets and learn like, oh my gosh, I can do this. And then, right, they take on the next courageous challenge, right? Of all the climbing and the running and like, oh, look what I can do. But seriously, we're no different to walk in courage. Absolutely. It's like, hey, Father, like, hey, God, what are you saying? What are you saying? And trusting. So courage too, right? Courage is trusting that he is with us, right? That he never leaves us or forgets about us, and that he's with us every step of the way. And yes, this thing right here, this thing of, let's say, purchasing land in a global pandemic, that is scary. But he said that it needs to happen. And so trusting that he is going to be with us and give us the things that we need to walk courageously, to take that next step. Yeah. And so friends, it's just taking one step, right? Like walking in courage, living courageously is taking one little step. It doesn't have to be ginormous, one step. And then that step is going to give you the courage to take that next step or the next two steps. Right. And one of the big things too, that I keep coming back to as well is, and just looking back over these last 10 years and even more, but it's just your yes, right? Your step, your next step forward lines up with your yes, right? So it's just one yes that seems that maybe in the grand scheme seems little, but each yes leads to like this bigger, ginormous yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so good. Like, it's just so practical too. I think that's the thing. Like, I think sometimes we make living courageously seem so complicated. Like, it feels so big, right? When you're talking about courage, it's a big word. Like, it's a word of big impact. And so I think we feel inside like, I don't know if I can do that. But the reality is, it's one step. It's just do it, just get moving. And I love like what you said, like it gives us a benchmark then, like that step. Now we can look back at that when the next step comes and say, well, if I could take that one, I can take this step. Mm-hmm. And the more steps you take, like the more benchmarks you have, really, right? Benchmarks of faith, benchmarks of courage, of like, look at what the Lord has led me to do so far. Like, if I can do that, I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
it's so good. I think too, like I remember being with you all in Thailand, which those were the days. So good. But like, I just remember, that idea, that theme of like, just say yes, like say one yes, like all the Lord needs is just one yes, and then another yes, and another. But just that idea, that concept for me was really powerful and still is. And those moments when fear is just rising up in me, like I have to just say, like, hey, maybe there's just one little yes that I need to say right now. And what is that yes the Lord's asking me to say? Because I don't want to miss it, even if I am really afraid. So I love that. I love that theme.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. I feel like, Amy, books can be written about your journey with the Lord. I hope that someday they are. I'm confident there will be something, right? Because there's so much to it. It's so incredible just who the Lord is in your life and the way that you're living this out. I know it inspires courage in me, and I truly believe it inspires courage in others. So thank you for joining us today. It's been a lot of fun, friends. And Kate, thanks for being here too. After your long day, we're just getting started here. Oh yeah. So with that, next week, friends, you can tune in with us. We're doing chapter 6. Kate, this is your chapter. I love this chapter. I know we say that all the time, but it's so good. I'm excited for people to tune in to hear what we talk about. The chapter is What's That in Your Hand, which is, you're just going to take us through some cool stories. So definitely want to stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, there's a button somewhere, so click it and subscribe, and it'll keep you up to date whenever there's new content that gets posted. So you definitely want to do that. And then, as always, friends, if you have not gotten your copy of the book, If you like ebooks and if you like free things, you can get a free copy of A Place Called Braverly at our website. You can also purchase a physical copy that you can write in and interact with at the website, aplacecalledbraverly.com. There it is. Yeah. So check it out, get your copy, share with friends, and tune in with us next week.